The priest returns from the afterlife to unveil the secrets of heaven and hell. Incredible revelation. What really happens after death? Keep watching and discover the shocking truth that the Vatican wants to keep from you. In this extraordinary tale, we delve deeply into the experience of death and return of Reverend Jan de Robert, a devout French priest who, throughout his life, was particularly spiritually connected to Padre Pio of Pietrelcina. Welcome to Path of Light, the YouTube channel about the most impressive prophecies, signs, and miracles in history. In this video, an exciting journey into the depths of a mysterious and unexplored universe awaits you. Here are the extraordinary revelations brought by Reverend Jan de Robert directly from beyond the grave. Jan was involved in the Algerian War. During the fighting, he was captured and later executed by the Algerian revolutionaries by firing squad. After the execution, Jan's story took a surprising turn. Although he had died as a priest, his soul suddenly returned to his body, a miraculous event attributed to the intercession of Padre Pio. In Jan's story, which is set way back in 1958, significant details emerge regarding the context of his life during his military service in the French army. Jan was not just a soldier, but a determined and compassionate doctor, motivated by a calling to help others. During the long nights in the military camps, Jan not only took care of physical wounds, but also devoted himself to providing emotional support to his comrades. He organized secret prayer meetings to give hope and moral strength to those who found themselves in difficult situations. From the moment Padre Pio opened the doors of his spiritual affection to Jan in 1955, the friar from Pietrelcina was a constant source of spiritual support for the young January. Jan was often the recipient of encouraging letters from his spiritual inspirer, Padre Pio. Before we continue, we ask you to take a few seconds to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Stay until the end. We have an important question for you. Following a violent attack on the village in Algeria where Jan had been stationed, he was imprisoned along with other comrades and executed by firing squad. Jan will tell of finding himself in a tunnel of light and feeling his essence traveling higher and higher through this tunnel. All around this tunnel of light, Jan began to notice familiar and unfamiliar faces. Initially sad and unsavory, these faces became bright and cheerful as he ascended. Jan's narration reveals an enchanting glimpse of a landscape bathed in a soft blue light. In this paradise, Jan will tell of having met people who looked young, despite having spent their lives in different times and circumstances. Jan arrives at a place he describes as entirely covered with extraordinary flowers, and on this hill, he undergoes a transformation. His being takes the form of a floating sphere of light. In that dimension, Jan met St. Peter, St. John, and even spoke with the Madonna and Jesus. Jan was completely enveloped in perfect happiness and total satisfaction, immersed in a state of bliss where every aspect of his existence seemed filled with joy and fulfillment. It was as if all the worries and tensions of everyday life had dissolved away, leaving room only for an inner stillness and a total sense of perfect harmony. However, Jan was suddenly torn from this state of ecstasy, and in an instant he felt himself thrown backwards, drawn in a flash towards earthly life, which now in his mind seemed 1,000 years away. Jan found himself lying on the ground, his face covered in dust, surrounded by the bodies of his fallen comrades. Jan will admit that he almost felt envious of them and of the peace they now felt. Behind him, a bullet-riddled wall, the silent witness to the miracle that had saved him from certain death. This extraordinary experience left an indelible mark on Jan's life, transforming it into an intricate narrative of miracles and revelations. After being released from military service, Jan, driven by a thirst for understanding and enlightenment, headed to Pietrelcina to meet Padre Pio. Padre Pio, Jan's spiritual guardian, received him with affection and wisdom, aware of the extraordinary experience the young man had lived during his period of military service. The bond between Jan and Padre Pio strengthened, transforming into an even deeper spiritual connection. This encounter with Padre Pio poured into Jan's soul the sweet awareness that death, that mysterious veil, is not to be feared. For now, with the clarity of one who has experienced the wonderful beyond, Jan knows with certainty the secret that life holds beyond the boundary of death. And so, the fear of the unexplored, which once danced across Jan's horizon like a restless shadow, dissolved like morning mist. Thus, the awareness of life after death became a beacon, guiding Jan through the paths of his journey, permeating his life with an ethereal poetry, where death is just a chapter, and not the end of the melody of his existence. The extraordinary life of Jan de Robert unfolds like a kaleidoscope of miracles, woven with threads of infinite faith. His experience of death and return to life, supported by the alleged miracle of Padre Pio, are a hymn of mystery that resonates beyond our earthly understanding. In closing, the extraordinary life of Jan de Robert invites us to explore the unfathomable greatness of God, pushing us to reflect on the deepest meaning of our existence. Jan's chronicle invites us to dance with faith, to weave hope into the embroidery of the soul, and to embrace love as the very essence of existence. It is a call to the infinite, an intimate melody that cradles our existence in the awareness that even when death peeps out, our spirit is destined to dance in the arms of the eternal light of the Lord. Let us thank God together, reciting the Our Father, as Jesus taught us. Let us say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you for watching this video to the end. And you, what do you think about this experience? Do you have any questions you would like to ask the channel about it? Write them in the comments. Your testimony is precious. Remember that subscribing to the channel and liking the video are very important for our and your spiritual growth. See you in the next video.